We shall continue with the chapter Nascent Nationalism. In this episode, we shall discuss about the Young Bengal movement and other people who contributed from the Bengal region. We shall discuss the Landholders Society. We shall also discuss the Bengal British India Society, and we shall discuss the British India Association. Let us start with the Young Bengal movement. Henri De Rozier was the pioneer. He was famously known as the High Priest of Intense Patriotism and the first nationalist poet of modern India. He had deep faith in the ideals of the French Revolution, the English radicalism, and free thinking. He was a free thinker himself. He was instrumental in the awakening of patriotism among students. They were especially awakened through his sonnet, which read, "To India, my native land." It depicted the motherland's plight, that is, India's plight. His followers were famously known as Young Bengal, and the movement was known as the Young Bengal movement. Along with Henri De Rozier, there were other contributors. We shall discuss a few of them. We shall start with Kashi Prasad Ghosh. He composed a poem which glorified the motherland. This eventually came to be known as the first cry of patriotic fervor. This was reflected later on by Bankim Chandra in his Bande Mataram. Then we shall discuss about Rasik Krishna Malik. He published the Gnananveshan journal, in which he criticized the judiciary, the police, the army, and the civil service. Next, Dakshin Narayana Mukhopadhyay. He advocated equality for men. He said famously that poverty was due to foreign subjugation. He protested against the administrative corruption prevalent during those days. He pleaded for Indianization of services. He also formulated a development plan for each province. The next contributor was A.K. Datta. He stressed that the government should be very representative. He advocated free and compulsory education up to 15 years. Next, we shall discuss the Landholders Society, or the Zamindari Association, which it was alternatively called. It was founded in Bengal in 1838 with the objective to cater to the Zamindari interests, or to protect the Zamindari interests. It also tried to include the peasants or the yurts' interests, but however it was done in a very meager or partial scale. In 1839, another society called the British India Society was set up at London by Sir William Madden. Now, this Landholder Society, along with the British India Society, collaborated and came out with a famous manifesto in which they vouched for the extension of the permanent settlement system all over India. They asked for the reform of the judiciary, the police, and the civil services. They vouched for the resumption of rent-free tenure. This Landholder Society provided the first lesson for the people of India of the art of fighting constitutionally for their rights. Next, we shall discuss the Bengal British India Society. Dwarkanath Tagore famously invited Sir George Thomson in 1843 to Calcutta. Eventually, George Thomson became the chairman of this society. The objective was to secure the rights and welfare of the people in a rightful and constitutional manner through constitutional means. Mr. Pierre-Chand Mitra was the secretary. He famously said that the yurt's misery, or the peasant's misery, was due to the wrongful basis of the permanent settlement system, the Zamindari oppression, and the police extortions. The Bengal British India Society, it is said, it did for the yurts what the Landholder Society did for the Zamindars. Alternatively, it was said as the aristocracy of wisdom or intelligence, whereas the Landholder Society was described as the aristocracy of wealth. Now we shall discuss about the British India Association. Owing to the disappointment and the failure of the Landholder Society and the Bengal British India Society in meeting the political aspirations of the people, in 1851 it was amalgamated and one organization or association called the British India Association was formed, whose objectives were to remove the legal defects along with the civil administration defects prevalent during those days. They wanted to promote the people's welfare. Radhakant Deb was the president and Devendranath Tagore was the secretary. It sent the first petition. It was the first of its kind ever to the British Parliament in 1852. It was said to be the first political statement of constructive statesmanship. It asked for separation of judiciary and legislature. It asked for the reduction of salaries of the higher civil servants. It vouched for the Indian inclusion in the Legislative Council. It asked for the simultaneous exams, that is the civil service exams in India. And it is also said that Sri Surendranath Banerjee, the first Indian civil servant, he sought the intervention of the British India Association when he was disqualified from the Indian civil service. With this, we end this chapter. Thank you.